And so for those opting in, you can see there's some overlap. There's some computer fraud. There are funds transfer frauds. There's other things besides just employee theft that's covered in there. I'll give you an example. We had a city in town that had completed a project, received a electronic invoice, paid said electronic invoice, and then the real electronic invoice came in, and they didn't have the funds to pay that, right? That's where these coverages apply, right? So they thought they were paying the actual invoice. It was a phony invoice from some sort of scam, and then they needed to file a claim. So those are the kinds of things, in addition to just general theft that a bond would cover. This crime and fidelity policy is broader. That is separate, but you will see that line item as coverage 4 on your July 21st quote, and it's $7.50 per head. So that's your employees, that's council, that's mayor. So prorated for the 11-month period, the total cost for that coverage is $41.25. That's included in the subtotal at the bottom for the total of $25,718.75. So a lot of information on coverage and who we are. I'll pause now and ask if there's questions or clarifications.
Are there questions from council? Yes, Vivian?
For that, it's just like the regular yearly employees, not the lifeguard, right?
You should include any kind of volunteers or lifeguards. So if that number needs to be adjusted, we can certainly update that before we finalize anything.
Okay. Additionally, on this real personal property schedule, on the fire station, personal property under building insured value, there's 0, but I'm just wondering why that is.
So it's personal property. So if you think about like a building, you have the value of the building, and then the personal property or the contents are your furniture, furnishings, etc. From what I was given, the city doesn't own the building that those contents are in, so there's 0 coverage for the building because you don't own it. And there's coverage for the stuff that you do own that's used as part of the operation. Is that accurate?
We're talking about the fire hall?
Yeah.
I own half of it.
You own half of the building?
Yeah.
So in the information that I was given, it's not showing that you guys are carrying the coverage. What you may be doing is allowing the other party to carry the full coverage and then paying them part of that. If you want to change that, we certainly can quote that. But it was not in the schedule in your current policies that I was given. So you would want to look at your agreement with, I'm not sure, is it a rural district that you guys have an agreement with? I would want to look at that rural district agreement to see how that's structured and make sure they're actually covering it.
The mayor will do all this. It's a long and difficult story. Not to burden you with more work.
But know this, that doesn't necessarily preclude you from starting, if you wanted to join August 1st and then sort that out and add it later. There's nothing that would preclude you from doing that. But I would recommend making sure that it has coverage, whether that's specified in the agreement or you guys do an addendum to the agreement, and however you want to structure it. If you own part of it and you want to cover the whole thing and then just back charge them for a portion of the cost of the coverage, that would give you some maybe comfort knowing that it's being taken care of. But if they want to cover it and do the reverse, at a minimum, I would request from them copies of the proof of coverage and that you're named as an additional insured. If you own part of it, you should be named insured, right? And we would do the same for them. So if you chose to insure it, but you needed them named, we would issue that endorsement for you. So they would have proof that there's coverage. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know the answer to that?
I know, you guys just got a bill sent to you for half the insurance.
Okay. We can follow up with the other details. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Other questions from council?
So the tank, the new water tower right now is not insured, is that what I understand?
Not on your current policies, but because you haven't necessarily taken over operations, whoever was doing the construction may have had a builder's risk policy, so that while they are in, let's call it possession of it basically, right, that they have coverage for it during that time, but when that stops, when you take over, you're gonna need coverage. Your existing water tower, from what I was sent, doesn't have coverage. When I asked if you guys wanted that quoted, it was not at this time. We'll probably just have it as an icon. We don't necessarily need property coverage for it. If you guys change your mind, we can always add that in too. But this quote for July 21st does show having coverage from August 1st going forward for that water tower,
For the new tower.
for the new tower.
And the builder's coverage, because we don't take it over until it actually goes online, right?
Right.
So theoretically, if they have the coverage, then that coverage would kick in somewhere closer to September 1st than August 1st.
Okay, we can look at that.
Okay.
On benches and picnic tables and what the city was formerly maintaining off the park.
Well,
Are we
That,
keeping those,
actually,
or-
we already addressed that, Vivian, that will come off the schedule.
Okay.
Because
It's already on there,
are
zero.
the park benches and picnic tables in, for example, Heritage, are they owned by, they were donated, they were paid for by Rotary, but are they owned by the city or owned by Rotary?
I believe those belong to the city at this point.
Okay, if we own them, we should insure them.
Thank you.
Yes.
The water tower in town, are we, because the city owns it, right? Are we liable with all that stuff hanging on there if something happens? Can we get sued or?
That's liability coverage, not property coverage. So if you think about property coverage, it's something that happens to the city-owned stuff, right? Like a hailstorm comes through and damages your roof on City Hall. That's what you want property coverage for. Just because it's not on your property schedule does not mean it's excluded from liability coverage. That is different than what you will see in the commercial world, because we're designed by cities for cities. The way we charge for liability coverage is based on your payroll. You could do it a lot of different ways. You could do it by miles of road or miles of sewer or any number of things, but we chose payroll as a basis, with the theory being the larger your payroll, the larger your scope of operations, and that helps scale the cost for small towns versus big cities and on what they need to contribute. And so even though something may not be on your property schedule, like a water tower, should something happen to cause harm to somebody else, we would investigate that claim, and you have that liability coverage for that. So even if you say, nope, if something happens to the water tower, that'll just be sad, we're not gonna fix it, that doesn't impact your liability coverage. Good question.
Anything else? Okay. Council want to make a decision.
Well, there's some modifications that might need to be made. The biggest one's going to be that shift from August to September based on the builder's, their insurance during construction. That might have a significant enough change to the rates that it's worth worrying about. Is it reasonable to make a decision today based on the analysis of that later?
When you compare the total premium, even with the adjustments that we're looking at, to what our premium is on our current insurance company,
Yes, it's better.
it's still less.
I don't even want to see the current insurance company's quote for their tower.
So what we would ask is that we can finalize the actual numbers. The first step to becoming a member is to vote on a resolution to join the program and sign the program agreement. We can continue to refine the numbers to make sure they're as accurate as possible. once that decision is made, we have to take that to our board of directors for them to approve you joining the program. So there is, some time that will take
This can
in
be
order
resolved.
to make sure you get on by August 1st. If you guys are like, this is too new, we wanna think about it, we wanna target September 1st, we can do that too, we would just adjust the quote by that. But you would have some, payment to your current carrier for part of a premium, and then a cancellation, and then a September 1st start. So it's all doable, but today we don't necessarily have to finalize the exact numbers. We don't have to finalize anything. But if you were to vote today, it would merely be, let's sign the program agreement, allow us to take that to our board, and then we can continue to refine the numbers, based on, some of the research that needs to be done.
So we're not necessarily obligated by today's vote.
No, you could
And then
change your mind.
the specific motion is to sign the program agreement and move forward.
I think it's on there as a resolution, is that
Yes.
correct? Carrie, so you passed a resolution that would allow you.
I have a resolution in front of me, it's in the council packet. Would you like to have that read into the record?
Yes, Mayor.
Before you do that, can I ask
Yes.
a question upon the resolution? Why, what, is the city considered a political subdivision?
Of the state of Montana.
Yeah, okay. I just had never seen it referred
Oh,
that way.
okay.
We'd love to be sovereign, but the
Yeah,
state doesn't.
yeah, I was like,
Regardless of how many independent minds there are in this room. Okay, resolution number 2026-R01, approving and adopting the Montana Municipal Interlocal Authority amended and restated property program agreement. Whereas the city of Townsend is duly organized under the laws of the state of Montana, and whereas Article 11, Section 7 of the Montana Constitution provides that a political subdivision may A, cooperate in the exercise of any function, power, or responsibility with, B, share the services of any office or facilities with, and C,